Good evening. This is Dennis Wilburn. Welcome to the Midweek Active Trend training session for December 20th, 2017. December 20th is always a wonderful date for my wife and I because that's when our youngest son, Brandon Wilburn, was born. Back a few years ago. Anyway, so I want to welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. I want to remind everybody that all materials we present are for training purposes only, and traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. So what are we going to do tonight? We're going to basically look at the new watch lists or list from IBD and how to, what I'm providing as a service back to our premium members and also our regular non-premium active trend trading members on a weekly basis. I'm doing a couple of sorts. I'm trying to provide a condensation of this particular, all the IBD list for you. The other training topics we're going to be getting into prior to the end of the year is prepping for 2018. We're going to revisit next week. Seasonality, patience will be rewarded, waiting for runners, in an active trend trading review, and that's going to start at the beginning of the year, stations and we'll probably divide that into 3 different evenings, 1, 2, and 3. So you're all set to push into 2018 with a step up on the competition. Remember, some of you have already signed up for this if you are a premium member. The Strategy 3 exclusive training. This is basically refinements for better timing on weekly positions. This is Strategy 3, basically the wealth and income building strategy is going to be offered. And again, if you're a premium member, you have already gotten your invitation to this. We'll go out to you again. For non-premium members, I got a special deal for you prior to the close today. And so tonight we're going to look at market review, and then we'll take a look at the evening's session, which is new watch list from IBD. And then if we have time, we'll take a look at a couple of stocks as time allows. But before we continue on, I want to, make an introduction of a couple of new people who are coming to work with the active trend trading starting in 2018. First is this lovely lady on the left. That is my wife, Michelle. She's going to be taking over and in charge of member services, and so she'll be doing a lot of the emailing and also as new members join, all kind of stuff, just keeping a constant contact with folks as they come on board. And then our son, Brandon Wilburn, this is this guy over here, this is our little grandson, David. Brandon is going to come on as website marketing and research guy to go along with what we're doing so far. Brandon has been a youth minister. He is basically there in the process of moving on and moving moving up to Boise, Idaho. So he now has time to help Dad out with the business. So I'm really grateful for that. So I want to welcome Michelle. Michelle's on the line with us tonight briefly. Michelle is not a trader, but she's a wonderful businesswoman. Michelle, can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody. I'm glad that I'm going to be helping out with my husband and meeting some of you. He talks favorably about many of you when he does these calls, and so I look forward to that. I've met a few in person already, so I look forward to meeting more.
Awesome. I'm really glad that you're joining us, Michelle. And now remind me that we have to give you a mic so we don't get this feedback.
Certainly.
Okay, thanks. And Nira says hi to you. What's that?
Tell Nira hi.
Okay, so let's get going. I am so excited about having my family kind of wrapped around and helping with the business going forward in the active trend trading. I know it's going to make the service even better for our members, and as they so again, I'm very pleased to have Brandon and Michelle on board. Here's where we're sitting as of today. The market pushed a little bit higher, but then sold off towards the end a little bit. Nothing dramatic. There was a big deal. I tell you, the news has just kind of gone out the window for me with regarding, well, even financial news is so full of just junk these days. It's hard to, that's one of the things I'm so glad we are technical analysts, because technical analysis sees past well, it may not know what the specifics of the news driving the market, but it does see what is the effect of what is moving the market, and we can sit there and we can see that going on with the stock charts. And so active trend trading, we're up nicely for the year so far, and I'm not coasting into the end of the year, but I'm focusing on doing swing trades and option trades for strategies 1 and strategies 2 going into the end of the year, so that we can then balance out everything at the end of the year, start afresh in 2018. So we got going on. Hey, I want to remind everybody, this Wealth and Building exclusive training coming on the 20th. If you are not a premium member, what this is basically, strategy 3, it's like turbocharged covered calls without the expense of owning the underlying stocks. I'll be doing a training on strategy 3. It's one of the most consistently successful strategies that we've done for both cash flow and wealth creation. Strategy 3 has frequently returned 100% on different entities. It had 300% winners this year, the SPY, NVDA, and Tesla. So if you're familiar with covered call, it's like turbocharging a covered call, because you get all the benefits and safety of the strategy without the prohibitive cost of purchasing the underlying asset. In other words, yes, we could buy 100 shares of Tesla at $300+, but that's $30,000 you would have hung up, out there and selling premium against it. The way we do it, utilizing leaps, and then processing the leaps to sell positions again, both calls and puts, it makes the outlaying capital much less, and I won't say easy to recoup, but it does put it targetable. Current premium members have already received their invitation to the event, but we will be opening it up to our free newsletter subscribers. In other words, the members who are active trend trading members but are only doing the free newsletter. You'll get 4 hours of training on strategy 3. We will cover how to do the setups for the idea foundation, the full details on how to pull the trigger in weekly cash flow for minimal investment, and then lifetime access to the recordings and training, the opportunity to ask questions and email me to see how the system works. And so the cost of the one online training for non-premium members will be $199, and it's an exclusive invitation, and that will be going out tomorrow to the free active trend traders. And watch for your email. You'll get a big bonus when you're seeing if you register prior to Saturday. And because on Saturday we go to the general public, and so we're giving you guys the first shot at this. And then again, there are some of you who are non-premium members, and I just want to remind you that we are offering membership at a reduced rate going into the end of the year. And right now this is only planned through the end of December. So next week, new watch list, or no, next week we will be doing not the new watch list from IBD. We will be looking at the 2018. We'll be looking at seasonality. This evening is there's too many IBD watch lists. I mean, there's so many watch lists that would make you, and I say that partly in jest because each one of the watch lists is targeted towards a certain thing. But the thing I like about the IBD watch list is they have to sift through and go through a sort that sorts out fundamentally strong, that it only leaves in the pile fundamentally strong stocks that meet certain criteria that I love about IBD, because I'm not a fundamental trader. I am a technical trader, so I want to be able to trust somebody to do the fundamentals for me, and I found that IBD does the best job of that. So I want to highlight how I do this and why I'm providing this as a service to the active trend traders. Want to remind everybody that all materials presented are for training purposes only. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. So there's 13 elite IBD watch list. And so if I were to categorize and title this, it's probably to be combined and conquer. So of these lists, this is the page that it shows up on the, it says stock list. You click on stock list on IBD business and it'll take you to this. Now, yeah, I think you do have to be an IBD subscriber, but you can, subscribe to, and again, I'm not pushing IBD subscription, but they're a great source. I mean, I really like them. Bob, I would think that, Bob asked, who is NVDA's biggest competition? Would it be Intel? That I don't know. But they are a chip maker, and so it would make sense that Intel would be in the play on that. So, and Skip says AMD, AVGO. So there's some of the other ones that are players in that arena, Bob. So with this, what I do every weekend now is I capture every stock that is on all of these lists. Because one, I don't want you to have to do that. And then what I do from there is I don't start here, I start here. Okay. If you don't, and then one thing to remember, if you do not have time to look at the new composite list that I post to the Art and Science of Active Trend Trading on the website, that's fine. Stick with the active trend trading ETFs and core stocks. There's 10 of them. And these are more than adequate and move more than enough to provide excellent returns, especially when we're trading the leverage ETFs and also the core stocks that we've chosen to kind of follow, which are NVDA, Tesla, Netflix, and it looks like we're adding YY to that group potentially, or our BABA. But just keep it simple. Keep it simple. You don't want to spend all your time chasing this if you don't have time. In other words, look here. If you're short on time, look at these 10 stocks and ETFs. I've got 7 ETFs. We basically hold 3 to 4 stocks, and those move more than enough to provide us excellent opportunities to trade throughout the year. But when I do pull everything together and provide it, my objective is to take these 500 to 600 weekly tickers, remove the chaff, and provide you just the grain. Because 500 to 600 tickers is way too many to try to keep track of. I identify stocks which appear on more than one list. This is a potential strong sign of institutional interest, which translates to power. The institutional interest translates to power to move the price of the stock, and I want to be aware of that. Then I condense the raw list to a refined composite list of only stocks that have appeared on more than one list. You follow me? So that's one of my initial analysis. Then I do 2 analyses from there, and I provide those to the members on the active trend. On the let me see if I can find a. Here we go. Let me bring this over, and I'll show you exactly where we put it on the website. There we go. So here's our website, and basically where we put this is on this article. We post this once a week, or typically on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. And you go here to the Art and Science of Active Trend Trading plus the updated watch list. Click on that. It takes you away to a couple of things. One, it shows you the bonus trades that we've been doing for everybody. That bonus trade is now up to almost $2,900 for the year after doing this for only 3 months. It gives you an opportunity to go, and if you're not signed up for the bonus trades, to get signed up for the bonus trades. And then the composite list is right here. The composite list, you just click on that. I'll basically bring up the spreadsheet where you just load that directly into your charting software. And also I highlight either the top 5 or the top 10. This week we turned out to highlight the top 10 stocks: Facebook, Grub, SIVB, Adobe, ESNT, 5, HTHT, and so you can read those yourself. But those all were the they floated to the top. So are those great looking stocks? You betcha they are. Now they may not be ready to buy right now, but if we're patient, if we're practicing good, sound, active trend trading protocols, we can watch those, and because they will stay in favor for quite some time, especially if they've appeared on more than one list, because more than one specific institution is watching them. And that'll keep them on the list for a while. And then it's just a matter of us waiting until we get the proper entry. So that's where it shows up. Just FYI, that's where it shows up. And hopefully you can find that there. So let's go. Let's move on. Now, what does this sort look like? I'm glad you asked. Each list is loaded. And so I cut and paste, and I come up with a spreadsheet that, I have sector leaders. And this is from the 16th. It was I did last Saturday. Sector leaders, they're listed out. Then I go to Big Cap 20, and it goes back to that full list. All 13 lists are loaded. Then I copy the tickers over to the raw composite list, and my first sort identifies stocks with multiple listings. Then I highlight the top 5 or 10. Then I import that list into Thinkorswim watch list. From there, I can then do additional sorts to identify any of those strong stocks that are possibly close to a trigger to get in. If there's no signal, I'm done until next week. But I basically have gotten a little bit better relationship, if that makes sense, with the entities that I may be trading in the future. I'm getting used to seeing tickers that are coming up. And if I do this on a regular basis, and what I'm providing back to folks, back to our members, is I'm doing this on a regular basis, we'll also be able to observe when sector rotation starts happening. And so those are big things to be able to stay in tune with what the market's doing. So from this list, I go to a list that looks like this. And literally, it is just a spreadsheet that's got every ticker listed. And it has the raw composite number is just, whatever number happened to be when I loaded everything up. And then I go through and I just basically do this all manually. I say, okay, how many times was Facebook listed? How many times was Grub listed? And I highlight the number of lists it showed up on. So Facebook showed up on 6 of the list. Grub showed up on 6 of the list. SIVB, 6 of the list. YY showed up on 5 of the list. And so then I just basically do a real quick ranking. And one of the reasons why I listed more than 5 stocks this past week is because there was 6 of them that showed up on, 7 of them that showed up on 5 or more watch lists. So I thought that was important. And there was a line of demarcation right after YY, where the next one was 4, and then it was, lower than that. So I took the top 10 and said, okay, that's it. And so basically that's my initial sort. Is this good information to have? You betcha, especially if you have limited time to do your analysis and your evaluation on a weekly basis because you're still working for a living. This gives you a limited number where you can say, these are really good, strong stocks. I'll wait for these. Makes sense. Okay. Once I do that, I combine it and I throw them into my quotes watch list on Thinkorswim. Now, this will work for any of these, but I have some special sorts that I do take a look at from that point. What I have is columns, and one of them is the close versus the 8-day moving average. Why is that important? Well, 8-day moving average is a very special moving average for the active trend trading system, and when prices are close to it, I want to know about it because it can give us indication of when we'll get an early trigger. Secondly, the TSI, the 883. I show the weekly TSI. I show the daily TSI, and I show the intraday 1 hour TSI, because when these are, I'm looking for bullish trades. When these are down in the range between, let's say, a -25 and less, oftentimes it highlights when this entity may be turning around. I don't understand the question, Bob. We're initially doing these IBD sorts. No, you're not. You don't have to do the IBD sorts at all. I'm doing all the IBD sorts. I'm pulling this over into the watch list, and then basically I provide that watch list back to all the members of the active trend trading members. And so it goes into my Thinkorswim selections, which is this particular quotes book. And then I can basically, okay, I go to the watch list, I sort on the TSI criteria for the stocks close to a buy trigger. If there's no buy trigger, or if I'm not close to it, or the chart looks crummy, I pass. I'm done. And it's good. I mean, so, because I want to finish my work as quickly as possible and then move on. So I hope so. Okay, let's go over to where are we going to go? Where are we going to go from here? Okay, we've already covered that. Let's go to the website, or let's go to, I already pulled up a chart, and this is basically that same chart, but this is live, not Memorex. And so here are the entities that I'm taking a look at. I've got Facebook, I've got Grub, I've got SIVB, and this is the non-sorted one. This is the way so non-sort. This is the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ranking that came out of the initial sort from the IBD list after I had see which stock showed up on the most watch list. This composite 1216, every stock entity that's on here has shown up on two or more other watch lists that are put out by IBD. So each one of them has had multiple hits. It has taken a list of approximately 550 to 500 to 600 individual tickers, and broke it down into one that is now about 100 tickers. And I've done this numerous weeks now, and it seems to break down to about the same number again and again and again and again. So it still doesn't tell me, okay, what do I want to trade? And so let's do a couple of sorts here, keep my eye on the time, and then we will look. Let's take a sort first on the close versus the 8-day moving average. And what I want to be looking for when I make that sort is there's a couple of things I can be looking at. I can look at, okay, here's where what this says is on a daily basis that red hat is $4.15 below its 8-day moving average. So we'll take a look at that, because the other thing that interests me about this is, as you can see here, the TSI, intraday TSI is at 58.78. So we'll go to that one really quickly. But I can then also go down here to, do I have anything where the it is close to the 8-day moving average, and so I can look either below or above. Do I see anything? Well, team is one that kind of catches my attention, but I can just really quickly zip down here, start going up from PHM on up, moving my way up to the mix. But let's take a look at three of those. We'll take a look at RHT, we'll take a look at COR, and we'll take a look at ALGN to see what those are telling me. And we also want to take a look at team, because team was on one of my earlier lists, I believe. And so now, Bob, that's a great question. Was my motivation for developing this to confirm anything? And not as much to confirm anything, but what I saw, and this was after watching Lee Tanner do some of his presentation, is he always was able to capture the IPO market, and this the sort that I'm doing, also captures the IPO market. And so, because I'm looking at, and so that's a very positive thing, because you never know. You can get some IPOs that run like a big dog, and so that's a good thing. So hey, let's take a real quick look at those RHT Red Hat. Okay, real quick looking at. Don't want to buy, I'm not interested in buying Red Hat after such a big drop on big volume, biggest volume it's had in a long time after earnings. And so it looks like we get a nice little bear flag on an intraday chart, so that may work out to be a put rather than and I'm not. Yeah, that's right. It's $4 below. The other one was COR, I think. Was it COR? I think so. You can see below the 8. There's the 8-day up here. It's below the 8. Again, not really interested. It's in a little sideways move from 108 up to 118. Not interested. ALGN. ALGN. It dropped down to the 50, bounced back above it, and is just driving sideways. So, anything that interests me there? No. TEAM. Again, this is TAM. Yeah, a little bit of interest here in that we have, we reclaimed the 50. And so we may get a bounce and a breakthrough here. And so team, which was already on the list, I would say, yeah, I can take a look at team. For potential, but team has already been on our list. So that's the way I use the sorts to go through, and it's just, to sort out, okay, what is potentially moving? And it's just something that's done very quickly. Let's go over here to, since we are looking at doing swing trades, I want to be looking at both TSI intraday and TSI daily. And so I can sit there and I can basically click on this. And as you can see, Red Hat, we already looked at Red Hat. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Okay, here's one that is kind of interesting. It's got a very positive, on a weekly basis, the TSI is very high. CPRT, and this is another one I could look at really quickly. CPRT, WWE, and 5, and we'll go down to CBOE. And what I do when I look at these guys is I see that when TSI gets down around these levels, they tend to get a rebound. What are the other TSIs telling me? Are they in sync with the daily and the weekly, or the daily and weekly have already made their runs? I like PayPal just simply because of these factors right here. PayPal here is a negative 40. TSI, and I won't know until I look at the chart, but the daily is up at 4%, and the TSI on the weekly is up at 331. So it looked like it may be doing, may have went up, has done a pullback, and now it's getting ready to go. Let's see if the chart looks like that, because that's what I can tell from looking at that. Like maybe it should look like that. So let's go to PayPal. Yeah, Red Hat was on the stocks on the move down today. Yeah. So one of the things we can do is, let me get that back real quick, and I want to make sure that if you are a Thinkorswim user, What you want to do is when you pop loose these watch lists, make sure that you are synced with your other entity, synced with the your charts. So I can go to PayPal right now. It's at 74. I'm going, well, let's take a look at the rest of the story here. And what happens is when I sync on that PayPal, it can show me that, exactly what it's facing, what the weeklies look like, and I can just run up that. And I have this on a separate page, but you can also just shrink this down. Whoops, not that much. Like that way you can, oh darn, what happened to it? There we go. You can just shrink it down where you can just see this. That way you can just go right through them all and just run through them really quick. See how it looks really good. I mean, it's not ready to bounce yet, but it's approaching the zero line. But that looks really like a potentially. It doesn't move a lot, but that could be a good move. 5, something we've been looking at. Yeah, nasty couple of days to the sell-off. Wouldn't want to jump on it quite yet, but I can start saying, hey, this has been a real strong uptrend. Where's it likely to go? And I can watch as you can see over here, what's it telling us on the TSI for a week on the intraday? Well, it's sold off down to about where it bounces, but I want to pop that up. It can go further, but it hasn't gone very much further. So now I can start drawing some lines in here if I'm interested in trading 5. And again, so where's it likely to bounce from there? I can do either one or two things. I can draw this trend line here across these 2 lows, or this low. And so it's approaching that level, or it may hit the horizontal. But it's not ready to buy yet, but it gives us an idea of, hey, this could be something that we want to keep an eye on. The next one we'll just look at real quick is WWE. What is WWE? Is that World Wrestling Entertainment? It is. All right. Again, and we went on a nice real big run, but it's doing a pullback. Looks good on an intraday, but not on an intraday, but it's at odds. Its intraday is at odds with its weekly and daily. And we'll do one more. But the essence of what I'm trying to show everybody is that you take basically this chart. You can sort by any of these. I can also sort by let's say I want to sort by the daily. Well, there we go. And I can just sit there and go, okay, well, what's the daily telling me? Well, the daily's telling me that BABA may be getting close to a potential, and sure enough, as we see with BABA, and I wish I would stop disappearing, as you see with BABA, go back to BABA, there we go. Okay, as you see with BABA, it has looks like it is starting to push back up. TSI has ticked up a little bit, but it's not ready to quite, it's at a level of support. So this could be a potential buy on BABA, but at least you can see what's going on with it. Can you add the ATS we follow to this list so we don't miss the comparison? Well, Eric, what? No. I'll just be straight up about it. Is what I have is on my watch, on my Thinkorswim platform. The way I do mine is basically I kind of like to keep my watch list separate. And so I will have a series of watch lists. Now, one is my weekly watch list. That's the one I share with everybody that has all the ETFs and all that kind of stuff that I'm looking for. So if I'm looking to sort through that, in other words, I'm looking to do a real fast sort, and I'm not interested in finding other entities to potentially trade, I just go here. I spend probably 85% of my my watching and my analysis on this. I'm looking for, what's moving, what's not, and ideally I spend going through, I look at the spiders, the QQQs, the IWM, then I go into the financials, XLF, this SPSID, this one, the biotechs, the gold, the oil, and then Netflix, NVDA, and primarily Tesla, and what else? That's about it. Tesla and YY here lately. Just take a look at it. And that's what I and I'm basically just seeing if I'll look at those 10 items. They either are showing us a signal or they're not, and then we'll jump on it from there. So I don't want to necessarily. I may bring across a. Let me see if I've done that here. Let me go back to the non-sorted, the no sort. And no, I have not done that yet. But I will probably be bringing team across, because team I think is showing up on our 10 most wanted, no, our go no go list, and so I will bring those over. And that's when I find the ones that I'm really wanting to focus on, I'll bring them over. Like we brought YY over, and then I will then take those off. And so that's why I don't like to cross-pollinate, list. But I only have like the 3 lists, and the other lists that I look at on a regular basis, when I say regular basis, I'm talking about a weekly basis, is I will pull up the IBD, or not the IBD, but my running list, which is all the stocks that have shown up on the IBD 50 for the year, all 205 of them, or however many it is. And I'll run through the same thing. Here's where, and just a secret, here's where I find the catfish specials. Basically, sorting off the TSI weekly, and I just sort on that and see which ones that it's low, and then start from the top and work my way down. And look, and here's kiwi, still at a catfish, could be a potential catfish special. It's actually looking better than it has in a while. But what it's capturing is what is it happening on the weekly chart. Because if we catch some of those weekly signals, those are the ones that lead to the really significant moves. And so this is really looking pretty good on Kiwi. For those of you who gave up on Kiwi, heavens, I gave up on Kiwi when it fell out of the bed up here. Because it had already hit it once here, and I said, okay, this catfish special. Then it, as you see, crapped out here, fell, but good to know. So, okay, I hope you see what the connections are there and how I pull it all together. And that's what's being provided every week for both the premium and non-premium active trading members on what's called the composite list. It gives you a great place to start, and I will provide those analyses on a weekly basis. If something really looks great as I review through just a few, because I'm not reviewing all 100 stocks, I'm reviewing like 10. If something pops up, a lot of times that's what's going to make it to the bonus trade, if you will, for both the premium members and the non-premium members. So, okay, any questions? Any questions? Okay. If you're a premium member, please check your emails. If you can't find the email that invited you to the exclusive training on the 30th, please send me an email. Let me know. And if you're a non-premium member, just stand by, because coming tomorrow, you will see, basically you will get a special invite if you act on it before, as I said, if you act on it before Saturday, before it goes out to general population, you'll get an additional bonus for becoming, for joining in that training. So with that, any last and final questions, friends? Okay, guys. Fred, good to see you. Bob, everybody. Jim, have a really wonderful evening. God bless everybody, and we're getting ready to have a Merry, Merry Christmas. We'll see y'all. Good day, traders. This is Dennis. During the month of December, the premium membership for the active trend traders is going to be offered at 40% off its regular monthly membership amount, $44.99, and early warning alerts. You can jump on early warning alerts for $249, which is 50% off the regular yearly membership. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Aloha. God bless everybody.